So, you know, everybody knows Hillary Clinton is planning on running for president. Her former husband, former president of the United States, Bill Clinton, not former husband, the former president of the United States and her husband, Bill Clinton, former president, as well as Jeb Bush is also planning on running for president, and his brother and father are both former presidents of the United States. Now, here's a story for you. So, in a nutshell, a lot of these individuals, both George W. and Bill Clinton, they get paid a salary. They get paid their presidential pension once they leave the White House. But on top of that, just for those two individuals, the U.S. taxpayers paid a total of $3.5 million last year in pensions and benefits for the 4 living presidents, including $1.3 billion for Bush and $950,000 for Clinton, according to the Congressional Research Services. Now, beyond just paying for that, us taxpayers, we pay for an office, we pay for 2 staffers, and usually pay for travel because you pay for Secret Service and whatnot, so on and so forth. So an oversight committee acted just a couple days, after Hillary said that she was planning on running, and they, released that they made $30 million in combined speaking fees and book royalties since January 2014, and thus this House committee would set the presidential pension at $200,000 a year, nearly the same as the current amount, with an additional $200,000 a year set aside for office space and other expenses. The bill will reduce the expense payment by $1 for every $1 above the $400 earned for the former president. Under the legislation, the ex-presidents who earn more than $600,000 a year would not receive federal funds for office expenses or travel. Presidential pensions, if you don't know this, would not be affected by the amount of income received. So basically, this is the Republicans' way of getting back at Hillary Clinton. But what the problem here lies is that they're also screwing with the other former presidents. So what happens, America, when Laura Bush decides she's going to run for president? Not saying that she is. She's clearly not political. I'm just making a point here. When Laura Bush says, I'm going to run for president, are you saying now that the Republicans are going to hamper down on George W. Bush and say you can't travel and you can't make money freely in our capitalist society? Now, while I do agree that $3.5 million for 4 people is quite a pretty penny for the U.S. taxpayer, and that money can go to funding schools and roads and all these other things, I also feel as though, let's take the politics out of this. The only reason why Republicans are pushing this bill in the House has everything to do with the fact that Hillary Clinton is running for president. If this were to happen 3 years ago, I'd be like, okay, good idea. Let's limit how much money they make, right? Or how much money the federal government pays them. But now, it's just a real bad cheap shot. It's a cheap shot against Hillary Clinton for no reason in particular, just because they thought it was a good idea. And America, you know how I feel about cheap shots. Cheap shots are just that. Cheap as hell, America. Cheap as hell.